shop, we have the new BMW G87 M2. Now, the G87 M2 has been out for a few years now. This is the smallest M model in BMW's M model lineup. Despite that, it packs a pretty good punch as well as a lot of technical capability. So we're going to talk about the chassis, its suspension architecture, as well as the powertrain design to see how well the G87 M2 has held up in the modern automotive industry. Now, of course, there's a huge aftermarket support for the G87 M2. You can apply many different modifications when it comes to the exterior, like these carbon fiber body panels and canards. You can add modifications to the S58 powertrain. However, in this video, we're going to focus on OEM-specific hardware. Let's briefly talk about the exterior design of the new BMW G87 M2. Now, when it comes to the front fascia, it is quite controversial since its first iteration. I believe it looks less ugly than other new BMW models. You have large grille openings for maximum airflow to your heat exchangers at the front. You have heat exchangers for your charge cooling, your engine cooling. You have a horizontally mounted heat exchanger at the bottom for your oil cooling. You have dedicated ductwork to channel airflow to your wheel wells to cool your brakes. It is all very functional. You have parking sensor integrated into the front bumper assembly as well for your parking assistance. No active grille shutters here to allow maximum airflow to those heat exchangers as well. When it comes to the rear fascia of the G87 M2, they maintain a similar design language since its release. You have these massive quad-tip exhausts coming from a massive muffler assembly, which we'll see later in the video. You have various ultrasonic sensors provisioned at the rear bumper for your parking assistance systems. For the front tire and wheel package, this shares a similar package to the larger M3 and M4. You have 19-inch rims at the front, wrapped in a Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tire. Tire sizes at the front is a 275/35 ZR19. Behind that, you have a very large 6-piston fixed brake caliper over a 2-piece cross-drilled steel rotor. The rotor itself has a very intricate pinwheel design, allowing high airflow for maximum cooling. Now, as for your rear tire and wheel package, you have a larger 20-inch rim wrapped in the same tire compound setup. Tire size at the rear is a 285/30 ZR20. Behind that, you have a single piston floating caliper over a cross-drilled steel rotor with a similar pinwheel 2-piece design. Now, moving on to the body structure and chassis design of the new G87 M2. This is based off of BMW's claw architecture. At the front here, you have this large aluminum shear plate, which helps with structural integrity attached to an aluminum subframe. For the front suspension setup, you have a twin-arm McPherson strut style suspension with unique M aluminum links as well as aluminum knuckles and M adaptive dampers with aluminum housings. All of this combined maintains structural integrity under high G-forces as well as lower the unsprung weight to help the suspension work well. Of course, despite this sharing similar geometries to the G80 and G82 M3 and M4s, this has unique bushing tuning as well as unique spring rates that are also affected by the drivetrain options you select. Now, when it comes to drivetrain options, you have two transmission options. You have a ZF 8-speed automatic transmission as well as a ZF 6-speed manual transmission. This is equipped with the manual transmission. As you can see here, the transmission code is GS653BZ. Now, as for the exhaust system, as you can see here, you have dual exhausts routed towards the rear here. They meet at these resonators at the middle section, then out to the large muffler assembly at the rear. Now that we're at the rear of the new G87 BMW M2, let's briefly talk about the exhaust system. As you can see here, you have these two metal pipes splitting into 4 that meet at the large muffler assembly, as you can see there. It is an active exhaust system. You have these valve actuators on each side that are electronically controlled. This will change the exhaust flow to change the exhaust characteristics depending on the drive mode. Now, when it comes to the rear suspension architecture, you have a steel rear subframe housing this massive M clutch pack style differential. This has a very large fin stack, as you can see here, for cooling. It has service ports as well as a temperature sensor. Now, for your rear suspension architecture, you have a all aluminum multi-link style suspension with unique M aluminum links. BMW spent a lot of time with the suspension tuning to make this incredibly capable on track, as well as relatively comfortable on the street, relatively. Let's finally talk about the powertrain of the new BMW M2. Now, for the centerpiece, you have a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder known as the S58. Now, the S58 has already grown a powerful reputation in the automotive industry. In this application, this makes a peak power of 375 kilowatts and a peak torque of 600 Newton meters. Now, for your foundation, the cylinder head and cylinder block are made out of aluminum with closed deck designs and a 4-layer head gasket. For your basic dimensions, bore and stroke is at 84 millimeters and 90 millimeters respectively, with a compression ratio of 9.3 to 1. The block houses a forged steel crankshaft and forged steel connecting rods that are carried over from the S63 TU4. Now, the pistons are manufactured by Moly and are forged from an M152P alloy with graphite-coated skirts to suit the high revving environment. The crankshaft and connecting rod bearings are manufactured by Federal Mogul to withstand high loads as well. The crankcase has additional provisions to support lubrication under high accelerations with a separate front sump separated from the rest of the oil sump. The oil pump is a spur gear type oil pump, which is volume flow controlled as well as map controlled. It has its own chain driven from the crankshaft. A twin return oil pump is also integrated into the oil pump as well. This helps with suction from the front sump to return oil to the main sump. The lubrication system supports centrally controlled piston cooling as well as lubrication under longitudinal and lateral accelerations of up to 1.3 G. Now, oil flow to the oil cooler is controlled via a thermostat as well. The vacuum pump is also integrated into the oil pump as well. So there's a lot involved with the lubrication system. Now, as for the chain drive from the camshaft to the crankshaft, it is carried over from the B58 TU with a 154 roller link chain. Now, as for the cylinder head core is formed from a 3D printing process, which allows certain geometric features that are not possible with traditional casting methods. The cylinder head houses a dual overhead camshaft design, which is very familiar, and due to the increased cylinder pressures, the intake valve is made out of a higher strength material, as well as the exhaust valve is larger and is sodium filled with armor plating on the valve seat on the exhaust valves. The S58 is equipped with Vanos and 4th generation Valvetronic, which is BMW's variable camshaft timing and variable valve lift technologies respectively. These systems have been adapted to meet the needs of the S58. To supply the direct fuel injectors, 2 high-pressure fuel pumps are mounted on top of the cylinder heads, which are driven by the exhaust camshaft. These supply large amounts of fuel to the fuel injectors due to the amount of power this thing makes. For air induction, 2 monostroke turbochargers supplied by MHI Group are integrated into the exhaust manifolds, which utilize electric wastegates. The charge is then cooled via a water-to-air intercooler, right integrated into the intake manifold. Now, as for cooling all of this, the main high temperature cooling circuit utilizes the main radiator at the front and the auxiliary radiator on the driver's side of the front bumper, with the coolant flow being modulated by a map controlled thermostat. The separate low temperature charge cooling circuit is utilizing a radiator behind the front radiator and another one on the passenger side as well. Now, all in all, like I said, this is a very potent powertrain. It is very underrated. This makes closer to 500 horsepower to the wheels as measured by many dynos around the world. Therefore, its reputation is very strong. Now, as you can see here, you have lots of structural bracing all over the engine bay, from the radiator support to the strut towers and across as well. As for the basic layout, you have these 2 air boxes housing your air filters, funneling air to the turbochargers. That air is then routed into the water-to-air intercooler, integrated into the intake manifold, as you can see here, which is then fed into the combustion chambers. Your generator assembly is right down there. You have your AC service ports right over here. Overall, pretty familiar if you worked on this platform before. You have 2 coolant expansion tanks, one for a high temperature cooling circuit and one for your low temperature cooling circuit as well. Right here is your wire harness for your adaptive dampers, as you can see. Lifting this up, there is your electro-hydraulic brake booster. Now, when it comes to maintenance on the G87 M2, the biggest consumables will be your tires and brakes. The most important service intervals are going to be your oil service, brake fluid service, and air filter service. Spark plugs are due every 30,000 miles, and your differential fluid is serviced every 50,000 miles. However, if you're driving in severe conditions, such as the racetrack, tightening these service intervals are a must. As for my conclusions on the G87 M2, objectively, this generation provides a solid platform that is highly capable despite its weight. And of course, the S58 consistently brings massive performance for its package. The electromechanical systems like the adaptive dampers, the electro-hydraulic brake assist system, and the clutch pack locking differential work together with the summer tires to maintain stability under high loads. And yes, in 2026, you can get this 2-door coupe with a manual transmission. That is all I need to tell you. Thanks for watching.